Welcome back to another video, traders, and if you're new to the channel, welcome to Tesla Trends. I'm TJ. We got a great video for you today, but before we get into it, please drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. Alright, let's take a look at the chart. Actually, real quick before we get started, this video should be pretty short. I'll try and keep it under 5 minutes. I just want to talk a little about what I'm seeing in the chart and what's happened over the last couple of weeks since I made my last video, and also one trade that I took yesterday and trades that I'm going to be looking at going forward. So let's get into it. Okay, so here's my TOS. We're looking at the Tesla chart. This is a 4-hour, 180-day chart here. The last video that I made, I think I made it right, let's see, I wrote it down November 4th. So, okay, it was actually right around this high. That's crazy. I feel like it must have been the day before. Maybe it went live here. All right, sorry. So basically in that video, what I was saying is, are we at the top? Have we topped out? And, you know, in a way, I feel like I was kind of right, but this isn't really what I talked about happening. You know, I was looking, and we'll zoom out real quick, at the previous, is this a 4-hour chart? Gosh, do I have to go back further? This is amateur hour, sorry guys. All right, so we had talked basically about this previous all-time high, this action here topping out around 900, consolidating between sort of 800 and 900 for, let's call it, a month before we really started to descend into this extended downtrend that lasted for about 6 months. And in the previous video, I pretty much predicted that the same thing would happen again, and so we haven't really seen that. You know, we did make a new all-time high, which is one of the things that I kind of said was possible. But then we sort of immediately had this sharp pullback all the way down to 1,000. We've bounced up to 1,100, back to 1,000, and now back to 1,200. It's been incredibly volatile. So I guess I want to make an adjustment to my initial analysis. And I think really the main thing here is the price is higher. So the range from before, you know, the range is going to be wider now just because we have more value to work with. The range is wider because the price is higher. So last time we had kind of a 100, really it was like a 90-point range. And this time I think it's that much wider. It's more like a 200-point range that we're going to see this consolidation until we end up consolidating probably around this 1090, call it 1100 level. And then we'll see a break to the downside, similar to what we saw before. So just to clarify, I'll show you guys one more time. So this level, 800 to 900, we consolidated from the 8th of January to about the 10th or so. And it's difficult to see on this chart, but if you go back and you look, we kind of, you know, there was volatility between this range, but we really returned to this mid-level right around 850 before finally breaking down here right around December 10th with a strong push to the downside. And so I think it could play out very similarly here with a little bit of a wider range. So between, say, 1,000 and 1,200, let's call that our range. And the midline is right around 1090. So we could see volatility, these pops and drops, but I think we're going to consolidate into this level before we have a real big drop to the downside, getting back into this growth trend channel, which is something that I talked a lot about in previous videos. It's just, if we look one more time at this extended 1-year chart, this is a daily chart, 1 year, 1 day. We pretty much always return to this channel, and we got dragged back into it on the previous occasion, actually falling below it for the first time in Tesla's history, and spending quite a few months down here. When we finally broke back into that channel, that's when we shot up, and as you can see, we've already come back and tested that level. It's right around 1,000 here where we bounced, but I think eventually we'll work our way back into this channel. So that's pretty much it. That's what I wanted to go over as far as analysis wise. So with that in mind, when we get above this midline here around 1090, I think you can expect these types of sharp pullbacks that we saw on November 9th, I mean, pulling all the way back down to the $1,000 range. And similar like we saw today after yesterday's high at 1200, I saw that as an opportunity to get short on Tesla, and I took a put trade. Was it? Yeah, yesterday. So Monday, 11/22. And when I saw that we found this resistance here, I wrote it back down about 50 points, and in 30 minutes, I had kind of doubled my money. So we'll talk about that trade a little bit before we close out the video. Could have taken it again today because we were still, well above that midline level, and I think it's just going to act as a magnet, this 1090 level. If we're below it, we should work back up towards it in the same way that we've seen before here and here, sort of making this kind of sideways triangle, pennant, whatever you want to call it, consolidation into this 1090 level before there's a breakout, which I'm imagining is going to be to the downside just because we're so far above our range, above our growth trend channel. So let's talk about that trade really quick. Okay, so here are the trade executions. If you guys aren't familiar with TOS, I'll zoom in so you can see on this. I took the initial put, just one contract. It was a 1090 put expiration for this Friday, November 26th. The trade was executed right around 11:30, and I sold about 27 minutes later at 11:56. The initial trade was purchased for $5.95, and I was able to sell it for $12.36. So just a little more than doubling my money in less than 30 minutes. Could have held on for a significantly greater gain today for sure. And there was a few extra points maybe that I left on the table maybe yesterday, but let's get into this trade really quick. So I'm going to change this to a 10-day, 10-minute chart, and we'll just look at this move from yesterday really quickly. So these are the last 2 days of trading. So here's what happened yesterday, right around 11:30 here. We had come in a huge push off the open, came right into this 1193 level here and started to find some resistance. There was a little bit of a push above coming into 1040, 1045, and we had this double top candle. That's not the right name for it, but these, when you see two candles like this, a green and red candle with the same top, that's usually an indication of a reversal. And I stayed patient, waited for confirmation to the downside, and we got two more candles falling below the support level. And let's see, I think I was watching this level here. This was sort of after the initial rejection from this zone. We came back down to around 1181, and I wanted to see us break that level before I took the trade. And so it was right around this candle here, one of these two, where we actually finally did confirm below that level. To me, that said that the rejection was valid, and I took this put trade right around here, around 11:30. And honestly, it was one of the easiest trades I've ever had to manage because it kind of just started immediately working, in my direction. It was a 1090 put again, but yeah, within the next 2 or 3 candles, we started moving towards these lower supports here, falling 30 points in 30 minutes or so. And this was kind of the level that I was looking at to get out. We broke through this pretty quickly, and so as we came into this next resistance, this downtrend line, that's when I sold, got out of the trade, like I said, in less than 30 minutes. And it actually ended up continuing down all the way to 11:32. So like I said, I could have made a little bit more money yesterday. If I had held that contract, I could have made a lot more money today. But if you can double your money in 30 minutes, it's usually not a bad idea to just take the profit on that one, especially with a volatile name like Tesla. And after this, we saw a pretty quick bounce back to the upside, almost revisiting this resistance level. So I felt pretty good about that exit. We ended up closing right around 11:55. So Could have played it a bunch of different ways. I took the fast money, and I'm happy with that decision. Today, could have, would have, should have taken a similar trade, but I was doing other things. I was actually doing some schoolwork this morning. But regardless, just to recap, looking at this range here, I think, and I'll try and do more videos over the next week or so. See if this trend continues, but I think we're going to see consolidation around this 1090 level with extreme volatility going back and forth. This is going to get tighter and tighter around this level, and then we'll see a breakout either to the upside or to the downside. I'm leaning towards the downside just because we're above the growth trend channel right now. And that's pretty much it, guys. Wow. I am getting rusty at this YouTube thing. I just recorded a whole outro without switching the cam back to the face cam. So, I guess that's just what happens when you don't make videos for months and months and then you try and get back into it. But apologize for going so long. It's really hard for me to estimate how long videos are going to be, and I just end up rambling. So thank you guys for watching. If you stayed until the end, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think about my analysis here, and let me know what you guys see in the chart as well. What do you think about Tesla stock going forward? If you have any questions or comments, please comment below. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like. I'm going to be making some other trade recap videos on my main channel, mostly covering options on SPY and QQQ, which have just been really volatile lately. It's been great. I've had some good trades. So I'm going to do some recap videos. If you want interested in that, click on the link to check out my main channel. And hopefully I'll be back soon with another video. So thanks as always for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.